Hi, my name is John Garfield. It's August 3rd, 2014. This week I'm really excited about talking about a theme, finding your why. Um, it's somewhat inspired by a Simon Sinek TED video, which is linked in the newsletter, but it's actually has roots more in 2,000-year-old biblical concepts and some of the things we've been sharing about getting in touch with your own heart's desires. About 25 years ago, I watched a department manager of projects introduce himself to a staff of about 100 other engineers. The one phrase that stuck in my mind was, "I'm very results oriented." Now, project engineers, including me, tend to be results oriented anyway, so the remark passed without much thought. He was a very average manager who passed into corporate mediocrity with little fanfare. And our personal and corporate lives today are very much the same. Very few people in organizations can articulate why they do what they do in a way that inspires anyone else to follow or join or buy. Why is deeply embedded in our heart or subconscious. When you touch the why at the heart level in a person or an organization, then people are moved. Expressions of the heart are compassion, nurture, creativity, intuition, spirituality, enthusiasm, and initiative. We've got a graphic in the newsletter that I want you to take a look at. What we do is the outer layer of our activity. How is just below the surface that explains how we think, and our why is embedded in our hearts, the real engine of our personal and organizational life. The key is that people do not do what they are told, and they do not believe what they are taught. We all live out the script that is written on our hearts. It is really manipulative to believe, for leaders to believe that they can regulate behavior or impose their own ideology to change the thinking of others. Real leadership inspires hearts with why before it changes any minds or asks for any action. Corporate profits and religious obedience are not heart motives. So take a look at the graphic. It's very helpful. Let's just talk about what, how, and why in terms of explaining what we do. If we base our lives and our communication around what we do, we tend to create a superficial image of ourselves in the eyes of others. Our focus is limited to results and behavior, like the manager I talked about, which are logically governed by very uninspiring rules and procedures instilled in others with job training or condescending lectures. That track tends to lead to unions, and it leaves the unmotivated followers with nothing more to focus on than how much they are paid for every hour of their lives lost on a meaningless job. How, on the other hand, educating people to think differently so they behave in a more enlightened manner is the bastion of intellectuals. We give degrees and certificates to those who endure this classroom approach to adopt our philosophy, policies, and standards. This mental approach to change attitudes is still focused on the teacher's material. You can tell because teachers who believe that changing attitudes will change behavior have no capacity for listening and no concept that people have hearts which contain the roots behind the beliefs in their minds. In other words, the mind does not drive the bus, the heart does. Intellectualism is preachy, cold, proud, and uninspiring. I'm sure you have felt those things. Let's talk about why. The real reason for our past, present, and future behavior and words is the why already embedded in our hearts or subconscious. We carry our own clearly scripted but hidden heart logic that represents why behind everything we say and do. All of our explanations of what we do or how we think are simply camouflage for what is concealed in our hearts. When we express what is really in our hearts, it can resonate with the hearts of others. That's what inspires action, not sermons, not explanations of what you're doing. Hearts must be inspired before minds can change. Great leaders always start with the why embedded in their hearts. Great organizations do the same. When we communicate at a heart level, our words carry a prophetic overtone that others can hear in their own hearts. Hitler used it for evil, Martin Luther King used it for good. They both spoke out of their hearts, and they both had the same speaking style if you watch the historic videos. They both captured and motivated multitudes, not just to listen, but to change the world by their actions. And I want to add one thing that's not in the newsletter. They both spoke with an anointing. Now I want to suggest that there are false anointings. Hitler had one of them. Okay? And Martin Luther King spoke with a godly anointing and produced godly fruit. So I want to just suggest to you that this dynamic cuts both ways. And in fact, if we're honest, some of us, when we start digging in our hearts, we want to get the Hitler out and get the Martin Luther King in, actually get Jesus in. So why find your why? When we discover the why in our own heart, we become connected ourselves so that our actions, thoughts, and words are integrated with our hearts. No more saying one thing and doing another. Everyone else can see the difference. Purpose always inspires confidence. Our lives start working practically, emotionally, and financially. There's one more ingredient in discovering our why. God wrote it there in our hearts. We are each designed specifically for your why. When we discover our why, it will explain our life, our history, our talents, our personality, even our future. The puzzle pieces will come together in a mosaic of God's handiwork. At the first level of understanding your why, you will see personal growth and your gifts will begin to function. At the second level, you will see benefits for others in terms of social responsibility or ministry. At the deepest level, you will begin to feel the heart of God Himself. You will see His heart for you and share His heart for others. That's kingdom. When you see your role and the role of your organization in the context of a much bigger strategy of the Father to bless the nations, it's spiritual, it's practical, and it's fun. Kingdom purpose is the most satisfying and exciting why our hearts can carry. When you connect with your heart, you will find your tribe, your vocation, and your ministry with the other people who hear the same music and resonate with a similar theme in their life purpose. None of us are on an island. Our lives are intertwined with those who will help make our dreams come true, and we'll do the same for them. It starts when you find the why in your heart. God has others waiting in the wings to hear your song. So what do we do with all this? How do we make this leap into understanding our why at a strategic kingdom level? We use a heart plan on a personal level and a corporate heart plan on an organizational level to help people get connected with their why. Now your heart has both what God has written and what history has written there. I mean, bitterness and unforgiveness are some things we all deal with. So the reality is we have to exchange some of the garbage for some of the good that God has already written there. It's a matter of choice, and we found the Heart Plan is a great tool to help people make that choice. If you enjoyed this newsletter, you might enjoy two other newsletters. One is called Putting Love in Leadership, and another is Fathers and Managers. Those links are in the newsletter. Simon Sinek also has a great secular video that is worth watching. It's a TED Talk called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Now Simon Sinek is not yet saved, but God already has him working on a reformation, and you can hear a prophetic quality in his ideas. And I recommend the video. It's worth watching. Have a great week. Bless you as you find your why and translate it into a ministry and a vocation and wealth in your own mountain. God bless.